guys, so this is a huge red pine that lives on our property. Actually, it lives in our yard. And it has seen its share of abuse over the years, long before we moved here. Now what happens, my God, this thing is just massive. It's got to be, I don't know, 50, 60 feet. But we live on a hill in a wooded area. And I mean, when we get storms, it's just crazy. It's not uncommon for a storm, especially in the summer, to just roll in without warning. And we've had as high as 60-mile-an-hour winds. And all you can hear in the woods is, you know, snap, crack, thump. And that's okay. I don't mind that coming down out there because, you know, I can use that for shelter building and whatever. But, you know, we have a lot of huge red and white oak and hickory. Full house. And, you know, this is some of the wooded area here. And I'm just on one piece of my property. Sorry if I'm going too fast and making you dizzy. But this video is about what I had to do to this pine tree. And there's a pretty big cedar tree there. As you can see right here, there was a huge branch here. Let me zoom in for you. That cracked during a storm because it got like really windy and crazy and everything, and it cracked. Now normally, you know, in the woods I would leave it, let Mother Nature do its thing, and you can see here is another one. I can zoom in on it. That's cracked, but that at the moment is not posing a danger to anything because it's hung up in this mess of cedar that invades every tree and every inch of ground around it. So it cracked, and it's an area where, you know, we ride the tractors around and, you know, we mow and our dogs are out here playing. So I had to cut it off. Got my pole saw out and cut it right close to the tree. They say if you cut it as close to the tree as possible, you know, it gets that sappy band-aid and heal. But you can see the resin that is in that area of that tree. Crazy. Just crazy. I mean, I can smell it down here, and it's about maybe 8, 9, 10 foot up there. It's up there pretty high. So I cut it off flush to the tree. Hopefully it'll heal and seal itself. Whoa, it's like being on a ride. Alright folks, so here is that limb I cut from that pine tree. I'm sorry about the lighting, it's rather poor. I'd say it's about maybe a total of 5 foot, and you can see I've already cut it in sections, but there's a fatwood from this shoulder here that was already previously off of there, and here is the end that came from the tree. I don't know how well you can see it, but this, sorry, is glistening with resin, and this is like a powdery, see that flake off of there? That's all resin. It's too bad YouTube doesn't have a scratch and sniff. Only for fatwood, nothing else. And this piece here came off, and it is just, you have shiny, it's just full. And here, the cat's tail is in the way. Go, Tommy. It's almost like fatwood candy. It's like globs of, right here. They're not bugs or critters or anything. It's all pure resin pods. When you come down, this, Tommy, nobody wants to see you. They want to see fatwood. Go. Right here you can see it's still, I wish it would show up better. It's actually dripping out of the wood. And I took this 2 weeks ago off the tree. Literally dripping. There's a spot there. And it's just running right down. And each, see how it's beaded up on there? And there's the end of that log. And this is the end of this one. It's just full from top to bottom. Come down here, maybe the light's better. It's still beading out of there. See it right there in the upper right hand corner. And on this end as well. You can see the drops. It's just full of resin. Here's another piece. Ooh, boy, that light's bad. Right here. Not so drippy, but it's even dripping on the outside. Doesn't show up very well. But these trees do not have external sap on them for some reason. And as we get farther away from the body of the tree and farther away down on the limb, it's still full of fatwood. And this was the very end towards the outside, the very, very end of the limb, still full. And look at that. That's crazy. All this, whoa, sorry. All this is resin that's just collected there. And this was at the further end of the limb from the shoulder. That's how full. Crazy. I wish you could smell that. Just scratch that right there and take a sniff. Unbelievable. So as you can see, the whole entire limb, oops, is crazy full. I just can't get over the beading on it. It just, and if I flip it over, there really isn't much more to see. I just wanted to show you the nodules, these resin pills. Crazy. I'm gonna split some down, and see, this is all full here, just like that's full. I'm gonna split a couple of these logs down to show you the inside. I have no idea how I'm going to get in this shoulder. I'm guessing I'm going to have to take the axe to it and maybe put a wedge in it. But let me process this a little bit and I'll bring you back. So I've got it processed down from the chunks from the limb. I just split it in half. Only because I don't plan on using it right away, and as you know, just a note that if you split it down to portable or usable size and don't use it right away, it will lose some of its potency once the air hits it. However, you can process it down and do shavings and make smaller sticks and Maya dust if you put it in an airtight container. You just don't want to let the air get to it and take some of the potency away. So, as always with gathering fatwood and harvesting it, there's that anticipation and that adrenaline and excitement of when you cut that, saw it, and split it open. What are you going to find in there? Well, I'm not overly impressed, but as you can see, there is definitely fatwood that runs all the way through these pieces. I have seen better, but for a full, like, five and a half foot branch, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it's not too bad. And the lighting out here sucks because it's nighttime, obviously. So yeah, it's not too terribly bad. There's some really good pieces. Now this was part of the shoulder, which I haven't split that all the way down yet. This is also, sorry, part of the shoulder. Now the night that I did this, see, it's not terribly bad. I'm sure once I split it down into smaller sizes, I'll get some more potent pieces. But overall, it's not too bad. I mean, I didn't expect to find it in the entire limb. Look at that. Because as you know, you usually get it closest to the tree. But for it to go through an entire, let me bring this over to the light a little bit more for you. As you bring it closer to the tree itself, the branch or whatever, it's pretty full, but it didn't turn out too bad. Now, when I split this, I couldn't use an axe because, like I said, the night I did it, weather was bad. It was storming pretty bad, so an axe and rain doesn't make for a fun time. So I split it in here in the carport, and I got my Baco, and the Baco wasn't going to have any part of it, honestly. Let me move you down here to the light. But what I did use was my Corona saw. This thing is just insane. I'm only using one hand here, sorry. Let's see if I can get it. Sorry, I'm moving you around here. This thing is insane. I actually cut up an entire black walnut tree just using this saw, and I got it at Lowe's for like 17 bucks. And quite honestly, I think it's going to replace the Baco. There is no effort at all in cutting any kind of wood with that saw. It's absolutely amazing. And then I split it with the let me get a work going. Split it with the Glock field knife. Wow. You know, if you watch the video of I did on the Glock Around the World series, I had to buy one. The knife is just incredible. It went through this Fatwood like nobody's business. I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and show you a couple things, so I'll bring you right back. Hang on. Now we're ready to rock and roll. So as I was saying, I used the Glock to baton this down, and it was just like insanely easy, because it was very, very hard. I had a hard time. I tried all different kinds of bushcraft knives, and number one, the blade just wasn't long enough, and it wouldn't touch it, and there was a couple that I didn't want to damage, but I also saved some of the sawdust and pieces to do a little lighting here. But I have not sharpened this or touched it or anything, and I just want to show you the craziness of this knife, how sharp it still is. And this is black walnut that I'm messing with right now. It is still quite sharp. I mean, I'll definitely clean her up a little bit. But look at that. I mean, it's not a Scandi grind either, and it just bites right into this wood. Mad. I'm really impressed with it. And for the price, I think altogether with shipping and tax, I paid like $27 for this knife. And basically, it's indestructible. That's just my opinion. It's insane. I love it. Alright, enough of that playing around. But yeah, it stayed. It held its edge well. I mean, it's not like razor sharp, but it held its edge very well. And I highly recommend this knife. If you just want to take a knife out that's lightweight, takes a beating, and just won't stop. Even if you just throw it in your pack to baton large logs, I mean, it'll do it. As long as that blade will reach on that piece of wood, it's going to baton it. So, let's get that out of there. I don't want that in there yet. Let's see what this sawdust does off of this fatwood. Now I always, if I'm cutting pretty decent fatwood, I always save the sawdust as much as I can because it comes in handy. It's less work you have to do. Oh, it didn't go very well now, did it? Hard to do in a pie pan, honestly. I can smell it. There we go. It's just a little bit in there. It wasn't actually like Maya does fine. It was some chunks and stuff, but she took off. So, and I put it out. Well, that's just as well. I don't need to burn the house down. Well, that's my little story of Fatwood. And I'm sticking to it. I'm sure you guys need another Fatwood video, but hey, everybody loves Fatwood, and if you don't, then you need to go back to watching cat videos, because Fatwood is the best there is. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned, there is more to come. Have a great evening.